Okay, I think everything looks good. Okay. Is it too loud? Hey, welcome, Okami. Welcome. Wait, I need to do my creepy pasta voice. Hello, everyone. Welcome. How is it going? It's good. Okay, does the music too loud? Does the music too loud? Hello, is it me you're looking for? No? Okay, good. Because I don't want the music is too loud. Okay, does the music suit for creepy pasta? I mean, that will be my first question. Does the music suit for uh, creepy pasta? You know, to reading some horror story? Is it suit? I think so. Welcome, Nene. Welcome. Yes, does the music suit for quite literally? You just wake up? You just wake up, really? Okay. Okay, I think I need to wait. I think I need to do this before my stop, please. Is it back? Am I back? Welcome. Hello. Hello, chat. Can you hear me? Yes, I did. Luis, Medina, Reality lost his account, so disappointing. Aren't you Reality? Wait, why you need to open widget? Okay, you're sending data files in real time. 1 second video, second you must wait to hear the video. What? How do I do that? How did I do that? How do I do that? Hello, Kisha, hello. Okay, but everything is fine, right? Everything is fine, right? Is it fine? Hello, everyone? Did anyone still hear? Anyone? God damn it. Can I have a... You must limit your live video upload to approximately 1 second. I am, okay. Oh god, why? Man, streaming is hard. What the hell? How even do I do this? Oh, my chat is there. What's up, Grandpa? Welcome, Posey. Wait. So I watch my stream on YouTube, right? But the chat doesn't work. What the hell? YouTube. Why? Tell me why. Ain't nothing better about it. God, why? YouTube. Is everything back to normal? Please. Okay, good. I think so. Everything is back to normal. right? Okay, I think everything is back to normal. Grandpa can sing? No, I'm not singing. I don't sing, okay? I don't sing. I don't cook. I don't sing. I don't understand live streams. Same. 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 Okay, let's streaming for a little bit, and then we start with the creepypasta story. Maybe. Who knows? I still don't. Did I have a viewer? Did anyone still here? My. Oh yes, please. Yes, we're gonna read some creepypasta, right? Okay. Hi, Xian. Hi. I just farted. What? You know what? Weird. My viewer. My viewer count, like my current viewer, is 0. That's why I'm so confused. Like, wait, what? Did I have 0 viewer? What the hell? Oh god. So let me pick the story. Let's read some top rank. That's weird. That's wire? What wire? You mean weird? Oh god, that one is bad. Oh yeah? Bro. Bruh. Oh god. You know, let's read one of the story. What happened here? What? Ooh. Hear my story. The woman. I just farted. Okay, guys, are you ready? Are you ready for some do you have favorite creepypasta caricature? Me? Not really. I'm a coward. I'm a pussy, okay? I don't really read creepypasta or listen to creepypasta. Just like I said, I'm a coward. So yeah, no creepypasta for me. No. You know? Okay. Let's read some creepypasta, shall we? Let's read this one. Okay, can anyone hear my voice? Type yes if you can hear my voice when I speak like this. Or tell me if the music is too loud. Okay, does the music is too loud? Does the hello? Does the music too loud, anyone? Everyone? Oh shit, is everyone already leaving? God damn. The story is too scary. I'm not even started yet, and everyone already leave. No, it's good. Okay. The first story that I'm gonna read, it called I Investigate Disturbing Case. Here are my story. The Woman. Written by Brian A. Young. Oh, hi, Will. I'm gonna do some creepypasta reading. They say that everyone has a case that haunts them. Personally, if it's just one case, then clearly whoever they are isn't doing a very good police work. Being a detective is greedy and bleak. You aren't dealing with happy ending. You are dealing with a cold hard truth. Sure, every now and every every now and again you'll get an easy case. The missing kid who just happened to be at a friend's house, or the argument turned bad where the bullet just happened to miss every vital organ. Open and shut. Everyone goes home with a smile on their face, or at least the life they were given. But that's not the norm. Something you learn quickly from this job is how different we all are. Each person talking you down a wholly unique path filled with their own challenge. Each time you try and understand the person you're dealing with, but most of the time you never really do. Even if you solve a case, you open doors that can never be shut. And just like that, you are now involved in the lives of people that extend beyond a court date. Someone doesn't stop being dead after a guilty verdict. A woman doesn't stop crying after her abuser is sentenced. And a person doesn't stop being missing just because you move on to another case. At the end of the day, if you can cope with being haunted by what will eventually amount to a hell a lot more than one case, then this isn't the job for you. That being said, when the case of a missing girl was casually dropped on my desk one rainy August afternoon, I was less than reluctant to make it a priority. Don't ignore that one, Smith, the woman hovering about me said sternly, with her finger firmly pressed down on the stack of the paper. Detective Evelyn Joss had been hard on me from day one. I'm not quite sure what started our rivalry, but from the second we had our first conversation, I know that she had a whole life being a hot ass. Naturally, being someone who liked to push people button, It made, it made her fun to mess with, which in turn forced me or forced her to push me harder. But this time around, I could tell she wasn't in any sort of mood to play. Chief, Chief wants you on this case immediately. He said if you don't make progress with it, then he coming for me, which means I'm coming for you. I look at the paper on my desk and quickly thumb through them, scratching at my short beard as I went. Missing kid? Shit. Okay. I see why he want me on this. But why in the hell does he think I need a babysitter? She shrugged. Not sure. Chief just really set on this thing getting looked at. I started to skim the document. I quickly realized there wasn't much to go on. Faye Mizuki was your typical 15-year-old girl. From what I saw, not much stood out. And that was the problem. All that we really had to go on was some interview with known acquaintance. Oh god, I don't know how to say that word. Some known location and statement from the family. This was odd. Why will a girl who lived an otherwise boring routine life just disappear? I didn't feel like she seemed like the type of girl to run away independently. So it appeared obvious one of two things was true. Everything we knew about her was wrong, and she was taking. It wasn't much to go on, but boiling down a disappearance to one of two scenarios immediately cut out many potential dead ends. And by the next day, I planned to have it down to one. I could have felt determination starting to fill my body. In response, I took up a big gulp of the cold coffee sitting near my computer. As I began to furiously type away, as I could feel inspiration starting to make the neuron in my brain fire like an old western shoutout. Evelyn had seen me make this change before. As soon as she noticed me going into work mode, she turned away without a word, let me get down to brass tack. I think I even caught what I thought was a slight smile as she let me do my thing. And in doing my thing, I found exactly what I was looking for. Absolutely nothing. Even when doing a deep dive into her immediate and extended family, there wasn't a single lot of noticeable information. These people were spotless, not even so much as traffic ticket to speak of. When I reviewed some of the documents, I had been given in more detail. I noticed a trend in those interviews. They had all come from spots that Faye was known to frequent, but the same things said were practically the same. Quiet, polite, never stuck out from her group of girlfriends. If I didn't know any better, I think that they didn't even know she existed. It almost seemed like they were just talking about some generic teenager. The only person who had slightly more to say was the owner of an Italian place. He mentioned that she and her family visit the restaurant a lot, and that Faye seemed really close to her parents. Unlike a typical teen, Faye engaged them. She wanted to have a close relationship with her folks and never took the opportunity to be out with them for granted by being on her phone. If only all kids felt like that, but I digress. Either way, this was all useful information. I had an idea of who Faye was, while I still do my due diligence on the fact I know what I was looking for. I was looking for the thing or person that stuck out from the blandness. However, I also knew I wasn't going to do that by talking to the people accustomed to seeing that side of her. By the next morning, I was drinking warm coffee in the office of her principal, Miss Thompson. Wait, did everyone already leave? I could immediately tell that Miss Thompson was a no-nonsense type of a person. She came off as a mean spirit. Her sharp tongue betrayed the image of the short, almost sweet-looking old lady one could easily mistake her for. I already talked to the cops, and I don't know why you're here, she said, waving me off. And I understand that, Miss Thompson, I started. But I just like to ask some follow-up question, if you don't mind. This must have offended her because she stopped typing at her computer and gave me an "Are you serious?" type of look. I could tell through her dark lens that she was rolling her eyes, and she made it a point to say her next word slowly. I don't know what happened. I know your people are slow, but that should be pretty straightforward. Being a black detective in every non-black area, you always expect some people to treat you differently, but her bluntness caught me off guard. As much as I want to cuss her out right there and remind her that I don't give a damn that she's an educator because I'm still a cop, I know I need her information. I instead opted to smile and force out a fake laugh. Look, I really don't want to take up much of your time. If you say you don't know anything about her disappearance, then fine. But surely, you know, if she been into any trouble, maybe some kind of altercation with a teacher or classmate. To her credit, she actually stopped to think for a moment. Her story teacher, Mr. Berkeley, he mentioned her name a couple of times, and I thought it was odd because she never had an issue in any other class. Maybe he knows something. Bingo. A hint at a break from her norm. And when could I see him? I asked. If you come back at lunch, he shouldn't be in room 2105. She turned her attention back to her computer. Her hand waved frantically toward the door, signifying that she done her part in setting me in the right direction and that I need to leave her alone. I took the hint and walked toward the exit, but I could not help myself for stopping the door. You know, I was always the fastest kid in my grade. Thought when you are in your 30s, wait, where is it? When you're in your 30s, I guess you're not as fast as you used to be. But I imagine that's something you figure out many decades ago. Tragic. And with that, I slip out the door, only glancing back to see the look of pure anger she had plastered on her face. When 12 o'clock rolled around, I returned for my rendezvous with Mr. Beckley. I strolled into the messy classroom and noticed the balding southern man tucked away behind his desk with a stack of paper neatly placed beside the door. But it wasn't until I intentionally cleared my throat to get his attention did he break from his work to look up at me. "Oh," he says, startled, jumping a bit on his seat. "I apologize. I didn't see you there. You must be the asshole detective I was told need to talk to me." Asshole detective, I chuckle. Maybe Monday through Sunday, but other than that, I swear, I'm the nicest guy in the world. He laughed, and the mood seemed to lift a bit. "What can I do for you, Detective?" Smith. "Detective Smith," I said, pulling out the chair from nearby desk while opening up the notes app on my phone. "You are Faye Mizuki, history teacher, right? I assume you heard the news of her disappearance. Is there anything of note that you can tell me about her?" He thought for a moment. "No, not really. Faye is a pretty good student. Does all her work, show up on time, get good grades. All of that will seem to make her better than just a pretty good student, yeah?" I heard from my sources that she's a straight A student, so surely she is better than that. He shrugged. I suppose. Nothing major spirits separate Faye from the great student in my opinion. Nothing major. Tell me about the minor stuff then. Really just some disciplinary stuff. She is very talkative in class, and I had to have a few conversations with her about being disruptive. Everything I read about her say that she's a quiet girl. Seems a little odd that she be a chatterbox in your class all of a sudden. Not that I don't believe you, but things change when you're best friend in your class. Best friend? Do you have the name of this person? Yeah, Hannah Sterling. 16, blonde hair, freckles, green eye. I think she swim with Faye on the water polo team. Interestingly enough, Hannah hadn't been seen in any report I read. How could we miss a best friend? I want to push further on this fact, but a 50-year-old teacher, Mr. Beckley, didn't have much insight into a personal life of this kid. Hannah Sterling? I pushed. From what I come to understand, she's not someone that I know of to be in Faye's main group of friends, and yet they are constantly chatting it up. They seem pretty friendly in class. That's all I can say, he said. Whether or not they hang out outside, it isn't really my place of expertise. But I always assumed they were close. The well of information there was running dry. After a couple more questions, I thanked Mr. Beckley for his help and proceed to make my way back to the car. Oh, thank you, Okami, thank you. On my way out, I sent text message to my officer back at the station to find me all the info they could on Hannah Sterling. I also asked them to check up on the people we had interviewed to see if they had recognized that name or the description. Hannah actually had a quiet history. Drug dealing, running away, multiple suspension from school, and a long list of other more minor offenses. She was a young girl on the wrong path. Not exactly someone you expect Faye to be associated with. And apparently, she wasn't someone her family expected her to be associated with either. From a follow-up interview that one of my officers did, I learned that Faye and Hannah were friends in middle school. But Faye's parents disapproved of the friendship and had thought that to split way. Even Faye's close friend had no idea the two were friendly. This was the abnormality, the thing that stuck out from the blandness, and likely the key to where to find Faye. At 7 on the dot, I was knocking on her door and flashing badge. Having seen this kind of thing many times before, Hannah's parents didn't put up much of a fuss when I said I need to speak with her privately. In the next couple of minutes, the young girl was sitting across from me in her living room, seemingly trying to make my heart stop with her stare. Obviously, the last thing she wanted to do was be talking to the police, even with her friend life potentially at stake. Whatever it is, I didn't do it, she said with no emotion in her voice. She simply stared forward at me with her arm crossed. Well, I guess my work here is done then, I joked. There wasn't even a hint of a smile from the girl in response. I cleared my throat and follow up. Right. Look, all I care about is finding Faye, and I have a reason to believe that you can help me with that. She scoffed. Why? I didn't have anything to do with what happened. Maybe you should go look for the person that actually responsible. Obviously, I wasn't getting through and needed to try a different strategy. That's fair. Look, I believe you, and I'm not here to get you into any trouble. I just want to know something that I don't think other people are willing or able to tell me. Whatever you said won't be used against you, but I need your help. And how do I know that you're not just saying that to get me to talk? Because you have my word that if you get caught for anything in the future, I'll be in your corner defending you. I know you had a rough life, and it would be surely be help you to have someone on the inside that can vouch for you if you work with me. Hola, Bugfix. Hola, Lego el Mexican. No hablo español. I'm sorry. She raised an eyebrow at this and thought for a moment. I could tell my proposal piqued her interest. I still don't know how I can help. I quickly pull out my notes app and reply. All I need you to do is lead me down to the right path. First, why don't Faye parents know about you if you two are still friends? She shrugged. We don't really advertise our friendship. Faye is very much a goody-goody, and it'd be bad for her image if we were seen hanging out. But I do really care about her, and we have fun together. So you said you make it work behind closed door. I guess. We see each other on the weekend when she's not with her other friend. Mostly in secret spot I know of around the area. And where will the spots be? A slight laugh escaped her, and I could see her body start to relax. I'm definitely not telling you that. Cop. Doesn't matter though. She won't be there anyway. Faye is terrible with direction. Plus, she won't have a reason to visit without me. Still though, a young person breaking from her boring life is exciting. I imagine she wasn't just hang out. I think she will also be looking to you for other new thing into her life. I mean, she started smoking and drinking a little bit recently. Really? You are an underage girl. Where on earth you getting drugs from? We'd come from a lot of places, she said with a slight smile. Can't say exactly. The alcohol is usually brought by this guy we've been smoking with. A third player in all of this, I whispered to myself. I'll lean in for more details and asked, a guy you've been smoking with, where you meet him and what is his name? We just know some of the same people. I think his name is like Walter something. 17, tall, pale skin, dark circle under his eyes, like he hadn't slept well in weeks. I think he goes to one of the school around here. Did he and Faye talk a lot? Faye talk about him a little bit to me, and I thought there was some chemistry, but nothing I really ever looked into. After about a half hour more of asking standard questions and exchanging phone number, I left with my mind made up. The thread were leading me to this Walter kid. Something in my gut told me he knew exactly where Faye was. And one way or another, I was going to get that information out of him. The next day in the office was a mad rush of writing report and trying to do my research on just who this kid could be. But just going off a name and a vague description wasn't enough. There wasn't anything in our databanks that helped me. Wait, I need a water break. There wasn't anything in our database that helped me. And I was afraid, and I had to go through every kid with a first name beginning with W in this area. Frustrated, I decided to step outside to take a break. But before I reached the door, I bumped into Detective Joss. Smith, she said a little bit forcefully. How's your case coming along? It's been a couple of days, and you know what they said about 48 hours. You're not slacking, are you? I shook my head and threw my hands up. I'm making progress. I think I'm close to it. There's just one little detail to solve, and after that, I'm off the race. She leaned against the wall and sipped her coffee. Oh, and what's that? Some kid named Walter something, 17, tall, pale skin, dark hair, circle under his eyes. Apparently he's from the area. but I have no idea where to find this guy. She threw for a moment and snapped her finger. Without a word, she ran off. A couple minutes later, she came back and motioned for me to follow. A couple of the officers were sitting around a computer with a picture pulled up a rather rough-looking young boy. "This the guy you're looking for, detective?" The younger of two officers asked, in distinctly New York accent. "We had some calls about him before. He ran away from home a couple times, and we have to bring him back. Nothing else on the rap sheet. Nothing else on the rap sheet, though. Walter Crane is the full name." Hoping it was who I was looking for, I snapped a picture of the boy and sent it to Hannah. Within a minute, I had a response confirming that it was indeed the same kid. My eyes grew wide reading her text. Immediately, I grabbed the address for Walter's school from the guys at the computer and bolted out the front door, shouting that I owed them big on the way out. I made the drive from the station to the school in record time. In what felt like a second, I went from demanding the principal grab Walter to sitting down with the kid in a private room. "You're really good at reading creepypasta." "Oh, thank you." "I don't think I'm good." Right off the bat, I could tell he was nervous. I didn't even have to say Faye's name for him to know preciously why we were sitting across from each other. Without saying a word, I want him to know that I was sizing him up. But it was apparent I don't have to do much to intimidate him. It was like Hannah said. It looked like he hadn't slept in a week. He was skinny, smelled like cigarette, and struggled to make eye contact. But even beyond that, his general unkempt look, loose-fitting clothes, and pale skin belied a kid that was obviously struggling with something pretty serious. Not visible bruise to indicate there was abuse, but that didn't mean there wasn't any going on. Either way, something was deeply wrong. "I don't know why I'm here," he eked out. I wasn't in the mood for games. "Look, kids, a girl is missing, and I have a reason to believe that you know something." Why me?" I sighed. "Tell me how you know Hannah Sterling. Don't lie either. I talked to enough people to know the truth here, and I swear it's gonna look awful for you if you start jerking me around." He fell for the bluff. Okay, she sold me drugs." "What kind of drugs?" I demand. Just weed," he replied softly. "Did you ever smoke weed with Hannah?" "Sometime. Yeah, why? Was there ever anybody else there? And if so, then what was their name?" Yeah, a girl named Faye." "Bingo. Did you ever talk to Faye outside of smoking with Hannah?" He started to choke up. His hand twitched for a moment, and I could see he was debating whether or not to come clean. I realized I might be pushing too hard and pulled back the intensity a bit. Look, Walter, I know this is hard, and I don't want you to worry about getting into trouble or anything. I leaned in closer and put my hand on his shoulder. But right now, I don't care about any other stuff. I just need to find out where Faye is. Please, help me do that. He shook his head. You don't understand. You won't believe me. I leaned back in my chair and took a softer tone. Try me. Start from the beginning. He took a deep inhale before a slow exhale and nodded. I've been dealing with some stuff. No, something. This thing has kept me up for the past couple of months. I've been really scared, and it said it take me to its home, just like it took other people, unless I give it something to take my place. I visit every I visit every night. I know it was getting closer and closer to taking me. It remind me every damn day of what it wanted. I start buying weed from Hannah to help me sleep, and that's where I met Faye. She's a really nice girl, just really naive. I could tell that she liked me a bit, and I used that. I'm so sorry that I did, but I need someone to take my place. I told her I know a cool spot we could hang out at, so I drove her out there, and that's where you'll find her, at its home. I promise I didn't hurt her, but you have to see. None of this made any damn sense to me. I could not tell if Walter was admitting to murder, maybe with accomplice, or if he was hinting at something else entirely. I must not even notice how long I was in my own thought while talking no, because before I knew, the kid was rocking back and forth crying about how sorry he was. I tried to calm him down, but to no avail. The best I could do was wait until his panic attack was over. But even then, he profusely stated how he never hurt Faye, and that he was just doing what he could to survive. The kid was spooked out of his mind, and suddenly his appearance made more sense. This was caused by stress and a hell lot of it. Eventually, I managed to get an address for the place and got all of Walter's contact info, telling him I'd be in touch. On the way out, I took a few minutes to try and convince the principal that she would send Walter home for the day. But whatever happened, he was a teenage boy under a lot of stress, and I had no qualms about bringing him to justice if and when the time came. But I also felt sympathy for whatever he was going through. She seemed to respect my suggestion, but I'm not sure if she ever actually did anything. Either way, that was a secondary concern. At the moment, I had my location about 45-minute drive away, and nothing was going to stop me from getting there. I jumped in my car and burned rubber toward the address. My attention never once broke from the road ahead of me, and my mind was solely focused on finding Faye. Not a single stay to enter my brain. When I finally arrived at the nearly dilapidated house, out in the middle of a random plot of land surrounded by nothing, I thoroughly started to fear the worst. By the looks of it, it was an old abandoned two-story farmhouse. I'd done this job long enough to know that with nothing around for a mile, it'd be a perfect spot for a murder. Even standing a reasonable distance from old farmhouse, I could catch a whiff of pungent odor. As I walked closer to it, the stench only intensive. Oh, thank you, Okami. What the hell? I thought to myself as I went for the door. It only took a slight nudge for it to open. But what I saw inside, Jesus, it was fucking horrible. The light from outside poured in through the various holes in the farmhouse, illuminating the various dead bodies strewn about. Most of them appeared to be animal, but some were undoubtedly human, and most were very young. What kind of sick bastard would do something like this? I thought. I pulled my gun and shouted for whoever was there to come out slowly with their hands up. I waited for 30 seconds with no response from anywhere in the building. I shouted again and still no response. But despite the silence, I know I wasn't alone. To this day, I don't know what force drove me to do it, but I had this indescribable urge to look up. For a moment, I thought I saw what appeared to be a massive four-legged spider scurry from the ceiling into one of the rooms of the second floor. My brain couldn't quite process what I just seen. If that was a spider, it was easy as long as a polar bear. It had to at least be 9 feet, with legs easily matching the length of its body. But the more I thought about it, the more I questioned. What spider had smooth skin with a head of long black human hair? Gun pointed in front of me. I ran up set of dangerously old stair and followed the thing into a room I had seen enter. What stood before me was mostly definitely not a spider. It was a woman. She did stand at approximately the 9-foot height I assumed when I first got a glance. Her body was rail thin with a loose hanging gray skin, an arm that dragged behind her on the ground. But it wasn't just the impossible proportion of her body that terrified me to my core. It was looking at her eyeless face and rubbery lips, the corner of which dropped far past her chin in permanently distorted frown. Inside her mouth, it appeared as though he was sucking on what I thought was a skull, like a cartoonishly sized jawbreaker. Her long grey tongue wrapped entirely around it, and milky, viscous saliva dripped from her mouth as she moved it around. I wanted to gag at the sight of her. My body was frozen in fear. I didn't know what to do or how to react. For a moment, we just stared at each other until I heard moaning. My eyes dart from the monster of a woman to the source of the sound. In the same room was a young girl, one that I recognized, Faye Mizuki. She was lying on the ground, her eyes rolling into the back of her head. A look as though she was covered in dirt. I finally found her, but I know this thing won't just let me take her with me. I had to make a quick decision. It was now or never. I fire off multiple around into the thing and rush toward Faye to grab her and get the hell out. But only after taking a couple steps forward, I found myself flying backward and smashing back onto the ground. Despite her lack of apparent muscle, she was incredibly strong. I tried scrambling for my gun, but she snatched where it had fallen beside me and flung into some dark corner. I was utterly defenseless. By the time I realized what happened, I felt the woman's ice-cold finger double wrapped around my throat. She carried me to the first floor and slammed me against the splintering wall. I struggled to breathe against her might, and as my vision started to blur, I could see her puffy gray face come close to mine. And two words she uttered through the rotten bread in her deep voice chilled me to the bone. Get out. I know she wasn't going to tell me again, and realistically, I had no means to objecting. I took one glance at the room on the second floor and saw Faye looking down at me with tears in her eyes. What did I do? I like to say that I stayed, and like a good cop, I fought against the odds and to do the right thing. But no, one more glance at the figure towering above me, and I run. I run like a fucking coward with his tail between his legs. The fear of the moment and that goddamn thing was too much. I didn't even look back at the farmhouse until I was safely locked in my car and calling for backup. The desperation in my voice as I begged them to save me from that monster was apparent. It took a while for them to arrive. All the while I was trying to process just what the hell had happened. When the officer arrived, I broke down what had happened, and they just looked at me in disbelief. When I realized they didn't actually believe me, I just told them to shoot any damn thing that moved in there except for a little girl. I watched as they disappeared into a house, but no sense of comfort came over me. A moment later, I saw a familiar vehicle pull up beside me, and gravely voice yelling out my name. Turning to a large figure behind me, I asked, "Chief, what are you doing here?" He fumbled in his pocket for a bit, then pulled out a lighter and a cigarette, setting the tip ablaze as he answered, "I want to see this one through personally. You look like Sid Smith. What the hell happened?" Flashback of that horrible thing crossed my mind, and I shook my head, repulsed at the thought. I found a girl and something else. Look, everything will be in my report tomorrow, but when the officer kills whatever the hell is in there, you need to see it with your own eye. He stared at me for a moment, puffing on his cigarette. I could not read him. All I know is that the look of his face wasn't disbelief, but something else entirely. Pity, maybe. I'll never know. Either way, he played off my fear and simply said, "Go home, Smith. We handle things from here." You work hard on the case, and looks like you've been beaten up a bit. Detective Josh will be on the scene soon to tie up loose ends. I was shocked and found myself speaking a little louder, of a tone that I had expected. "What? No. I have to see this thing through. I have to make sure she's okay." The look in his eyes implicated he wasn't going to argue with me. "No, Smith. You're going home. We will take care of everything. You have my word." I want to fight. I want to scream and yell that this was bullshit, but I know my place. And I knew I didn't have any standing to force the issue. Reluctantly, I got in my car and drove home, mad at the world. The night was awful. I couldn't stop thinking about that monster I had come face to face with, or the conversation with Walter that now made complete sense. The thing was hunting him, and it was smart enough to get him to sacrifice someone else in his place. I was not able to sleep either if I knew that thing was coming for me. Hell, I probably explained him running away too. He was probably trying to get as far away from it as possible. Still, he knew he never succeed until either it took him or until it took someone else. But why? Why not just take the kid? Why did it matter who it was if it was just hungry? Did it just like to fuck with people? Did it have some kind of sick mind that matched its even sicker appearance? I wish I knew. The next day, I tried to keep sense of the normalcy. My morning was fine. Albeit, I scared myself a couple of times, thinking that that lady had found itself in my house. I threw myself into my work the next day, finishing my record in record time. I wanted to hand it to Chip personally, in part so that I could ask him about what went down the previous day. But in response, he simply asked me to close and lock the door behind him. "Sit down, Smith," he said calmly, and I did. "Look, I appreciate you doing the work you did. You are a damn fine cop, damn fine. But here's what's going to happen. I know you. You are an honest guy. You want to do things the right way. And your report is going to reflect that, isn't it?" Yes," I replied cautiously. "I respect that. But this report on my desk doesn't exist." He pulled out a stack of paper from his desk. "This is actually the report that you emailed me today and hand me in person. It says that you talked to the Walter kid. He told you that Faye had tried some new drugs and found a spot to use them in, been killed by an unknown assailant, and that the farmhouse she was using had burned down, likely by a homeless squatter on accident. That sounds more realistic, doesn't it?" What was he saying to me? My blood was boiling, and it took everything in my power not to rush the man right there and crack him across the jar. "Sir, that's not at all what happened. The girl was alive when I saw her. There were armed officers who went in to take her." He nodded. "And what, Smith?" "They went to fight the creature of the night like a superheroes." "You were there. There's no way they didn't see. There's no way you didn't see." I was beginning to crack. He sighed and leaned back in his chair. "I was there, and I did see a lot. Look, it doesn't do either of us good to lie. Smith, there are things out there, things that we are completely incapable of dealing with. So we just run and hide?" I snapped. "Isn't that what you did?" He calmly replied. He was right. His words stung like a salt dagger to the gut. What could I even say? "But that's not what we do. I was wrong." He exhaled loudly. "Let's say that people believe us. We don't live in a world where anyone could ever accept that thing that go bomb into the night are real, even if we say it's true. We get looked at as the craziest who aren't doing their job. But let's pretend like that's not the case. Where do we go from there? Arrest something like her? Keep her in jail with all the other criminals? Smith, do you think burning down that farmhouse kill her? Fuck no. Just scare her off. We literally don't have the capacity to deal with things like that. So what? So what's the next best move? Stop the panic? Move those things to more obscure location if we can, but otherwise operate if things are normal and move on. We focus on the real crime that we can deal with. I was speechless. My own damn chief was telling me to just forget that a family had lost a daughter because he didn't think there was anything we could do to help. The only thing left to do was ask, "Did you know? Did you know?" He went silent for a moment and said, "I had a hunch. I've seen cases like this before." After talking to some other counties about similar disappearance, the sign pointing to this maybe being the case. When your frantic call me through, I want to confirm it myself. Smith, you did a good work. This was a problem we need to address for a while, and if it strikes again, I interrupt. Then we figure something else out, I suppose. Look, you're going to be on some easy case for a while. You earned the break, and I don't want you seeing anything else traumatic, even by normal standard, for a while. But I'm demanding that you play ball on this one. Just trust me. Without saying a word, I nod and walk out. I never see a peep to anyone. I never even spoke about it to the officer that I know were there. Little did I know I will eventually become a trusted person in this type of case. Someone good enough to investigate and trustworthy enough not to say anything. It was hard to live with, knowing the truly messed up and outright terrifying part of our world. The creature we live with daily do horrible things, while people sworn to protect us just stand by and do nothing. It was a significant source of conflict and eventually led me to leaving. But this story will always stick with me, forever burned into my memory as genuinely defining moment of my life. When the time comes, I'll share more of these tales, but for now, just remember, when you hear something go boom in the night, don't think for a second that it can reach out and drag you away. Stay safe, everyone. And that will be the end of the story. Holy shit, that is a long one. I don't think if anyone's still here. Did anyone still here? Anyone? You're so good at reading creepypasta. It's amazing. I love the story and live stream. Oh, thank you, Okami. I don't think it's that good. But thank you very much. I wish people more people join, but yeah. Well, I think that will be the end of the stream. Thank you for coming. I hope you enjoy the story. And maybe next time we will read another creepypasta. And maybe we will find something better. So yeah, thank you for coming. Don't forget to subscribe, like this stream, and always stay safe, everyone. Bye bye.